Nepal is located in South Asia and shares territorial borders with India and China. It has an area of 147,181 square kilometers and population is approximately 30 million. Kathmandu is the nation's capital and the country's largest metropolitan city. Nepal offers a unique place of pilgrimage not only for the Hindus, but also for the Buddhists. It is the birthplace of Lord Buddha, the apostle of peace and compassion. The most important aspect of Nepali culture is the religious harmony and understanding prevailing among the Hindus and Buddhists. After decades of rivalry between the medieval kingdoms, modern Nepal was unified in the latter half of the 18th century, when Prithvinarayan Shah, the ruler of the small principality of Gorkha, formed a unified country from a number of independent hill-high states. Prehistory. Who lived in Nepal before millions of years ago? Before all the kings and queens, prehistoric sites of Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic origins have been discovered in the Siwalik Hills of Dan district. It means that people are living in Nepal since Old Stone Age, Middle Stone Age and New Stone Age. The earliest inhabitants of modern Nepal and adjoining areas are believed to be people from the Indus Valley civilization. It is possible that the Dravidian people, an ethno-linguistic and cultural group living in South Asia who predominantly speak any of the Dravidian languages, in Nepali Devanagari language, whose history predates the onset of the Bronze Age in the Indian subcontinent around 3300 BC, inhabited the area, before the arrival of other ethnic groups like the Tibeto-Burmans and Indo-Aryans from across the border. Tharas, Tibeto-Burmans, who mixed heavily with Indians in the southern regions, are natives of the central Terai region of Nepal. The Tharo people are an ethnic group indigenous to the Terai in southern Nepal and northern India. They speak Tharo languages. They are recognized as an official nationality by the government of Nepal. The first documented tribes in Nepal are the Kirat people, who arrived into Nepal from Tibet roughly 4,000 to 4,500 years ago and moved into the Kathmandu Valley and southern parts of Nepal, before being made to retreat elsewhere by the invading Licchavis who ruled the Kathmandu Valley. Other ethnic groups of Indo-Aryan origin later migrated to southern part of Nepal from Indo-Gangetic plain of northern India. Stella Kramrisch, an American pioneering art historian and curator, mentions a substratum of a race of P.I. Dravidians and Dravidians who were in Nepal even before the Newars, who formed the majority of the ancient inhabitants of the valley of Kathmandu. Although very little is known about the early history of Nepal, legends and documented references reach far back to the 30th century BC. Also, the presence of historical sites such as the Valmiki Ashram indicates the presence of Sanatana ancient Hindu culture in parts of Nepal at that period. According to legendary accounts, the early rulers of Nepal were the Gopal Bansa or Kauha dynasty, who presumably ruled for about 5 centuries. They are said to have been followed by the Mahispal Bansa or Buffalo Herder dynasty, established by a Yadav named War Singh. The Shakya clan formed an independent oligarchic republican state known as the Sakya Ganaraja during the late Vedic period, 1000 to 500 BC, and the later so-called Second Urbanization period, 600 to 100 BC. Its capital was Kapilavastu, which may have been located either in present-day Tirurakot, Nepal. Gautama Buddha, whose teachings became the foundation of Buddhism, was the best-known Shakya. He was known in his lifetime as Siddhartha Gautama and Shakyamuni, sage of the Shakyas. This is it for part 1. We will cover more Nepal's history, about Kirat and Licchavi dynasty, about kings, queens, wars and politics of Shah dynasty, Ranas, and how modern Nepal is formed through the course of history. Subscribe for more videos.